Hello and welcome to this new video. Today I want to talk to you about AWS. So I want to introduce a new video or a new series of videos dedicated to the cloud. Now, for those who have seen the official AWS training on AWS, which is free, and I encourage you to watch it because it's really well done. It talks about a coffee shop that we'll also use that as an example to explain some things to you. And also, since I've been thinking about this AWS for 2 days, I have a big problem. I can't learn anything if I can't visualize it. Yes, the coffee shop is a practical example, and I understood that, but I missed the rest of the training because it's too long. Then it gets boring. After a while, it gets boring and uses a ton of terms that I get lost in. So if you have the same problem as me, I invite you to watch this video and, of course, leave a like for the effort I put into sharing this information. That said, let's move on. So first of all, what is the cloud? You should picture the cloud as a big empty building. Just keep that in mind for now, and the rest will become clear later. Now, why should you use the cloud, or why is the cloud used? The cloud is used because if you have servers in your office and they're running 24/7 to provide services, they come with costs. Of course, if you have just one server in your office and you don't update it, don't upgrade the hardware, don't update the software, and so on, of course, the only cost you really have is electricity. But then one day everything crashes, or you get hacked, or you catch a virus, and then, well, whatever happens, happens. But if that's your approach, then this video isn't for you. So stop watching, go eat, or go for a walk. For everyone else, with the cloud, you can have your scalable server always available 24/7. You don't have to worry about updates, licenses, compliance with GDPR, or anything like that because Amazon takes care of all of it. You basically just use the service, which you do have to configure, of course, but for everything else, you don't have to worry. Plus, it's scalable because if you have a lot of requests, say from 9 in the morning to 8 in the evening, you'll use 100% of the power. But if you don't have any requests from 8 in the evening to 5 in the morning, you can reduce them by 90%. So obviously the cost will also be reduced by 90%, and so on and so forth. Why is the coffee shop example appropriate in DWS training? Because if during the holiday season you have a lot of customers and therefore a need, thank you. When there is a greater need to provide the service, you will hire additional resources, meaning staff members, to handle these requests. When the staff is no longer needed because the requests have decreased, that same staff will, so to speak, be let go or released. This is the same principle as the cloud. Now, I told you to imagine it as an empty building. Why is that? Because in AWS, there are a lot of terms that, for someone like me, if I can't visualize them, I just don't understand them. For example, VPC. What is VPC? EC2, EC2, Route 53. It feels like those videos you see on TikTok where the words are fancy, sophisticated, like beluga salmon propellers from Belgium. Propellers, but are they Fusilli or what? What kind of propellers? They're called Fusilli, but you call it EC2, EC2. It's a virtual machine. Just call it a virtual machine. But they call it EC2 because EC stands for elastic compute. Why elastic? Because it's elastic precisely because you can have a machine with Windows Server, say with 8 gigabytes of RAM, and with one click you can bump it up to 64 gigabytes and that's it. From 64 gigabytes you can bring it down to 4 gigabytes all with a single click. That's why it's elastic. The VPC stands for Virtual Private Computer. Here we get to our empty building. So in this empty building there are apartments. Now this building, however, can be made smaller or larger. The apartments can be made smaller or larger, but the concept remains the same. So the virtual private computer, the VPC, let's say this building and this apartment are located on Via dei Sassi Sconfi. All right? You take, let's say, the first apartment on the first floor, VPC, then you take another apartment also on the first floor with another VPC, so there's VPC A and VPC B. Even though they're on the same floor in the same building, these two don't see each other, they don't know each other. And here I'll introduce the lab that I'll show you, which you can also do yourself because it's free. You can do it with your account. Just register on Amazon, on AWS, and you can do it, so it's not a problem. These don't see each other, and here a problem already arises. Now, at this moment, these apartments are currently empty, but AWS provides you with a comprehensive set of tools and services so that these two can communicate and interact with each other, with the internet, and also with your internal infrastructure, that is, with your company. Or they can communicate only with each other and not with the internet, but the concept remains the same. In addition, AWS also gives you a range of tools. Let's keep comparing them to an apartment. It gives you the sofas, the kitchen, the plates, the pans, and so on, which are the applications. So, databases of any kind, operating systems of any kind you want, Linux, Windows, whatever you like. It gives you the tools, as I said, so it gives you RAM, hard drives, everything. Everything is ready for you. You just have to choose what you want to use. Then, when you no longer need them, you make them available again to AWS. So, you use the resources as long as you need them, and when you don't need them anymore, you release them. You say, that's it, I won't pay anymore because I don't need them, and that's it. And that's what cloud is all about. So, it's very simple. Route 53. This is also a made-up name to refer to DNS. It's an AWS service called Route 53, which is nothing more than DNS. So the thing I really want you to remember is this idea of the building, because it's important for understanding what we're about to do next. The building concept will help guide your thinking as we move forward. Now, I'm going to show you something here, a little drawing I made, which is what we'll use for the lab activities. This drawing is meant to represent the building and will help you visualize the concepts we'll be working with. I actually made it just yesterday, taking some time to make sure it clearly shows the main features we'll focus on during the lab. So, in this little drawing, which might not mean anything to you right now, but we'll need it for the lab, remember it well because you'll use this drawing in the enterprise. So, what you see here is important because it's not just something random. I'm not just doing a little lab like this to waste time, because all the labs you find on this channel are meant to help you work, not just to set a random IP address. You know, with your hands full of life, you go and enter an IP and configure an interface. Everyone knows how to do that. This is enterprise level stuff. You can even present this in an interview and say, I know how to do this. So let it be clear, this isn't just playing around. It's not a game. It's not just for fun. Sure, you can do it for fun, but the purpose is something else entirely. So let's see what you have here. I know it doesn't mean much to you right now, but don't worry. When we get to the lab, you'll see that everything will become very, very clear. Let me give you an example. First, I'll take a screenshot because I need it to show you. Here it is. So here you see, even if it's selected right now, you'll see it better in the lab, but I'll mark it in red for you anyway. So here you see that it says AWS here. That's not by chance. All the little symbols you see here, pay attention, they're not placed randomly. They each have a very specific meaning. Keep this in mind because these symbols are real, actual AWS symbols. When you're designing and you need the little diagram in AWS because everything is virtual, everything is abstract, which then becomes something real, but you have to represent it for yourself. So first you design and then you build. If you try to do things without making these diagrams, you'll quickly realize that things get confusing. So pay attention, it's not difficult. Believe me, it's not difficult. So this little AWS diagram, this thing you see here that encloses everything, okay, that's the building. What I told you at the beginning is the empty building. Well, here I went a bit off track. This is the apartment, the VPC. See here? VPC. This, on the other hand, is your VPC network, your personal network, because in the cloud, you have two. Basically, you have two networks, one private and one public. The public one interfaces with the internet. The private one interfaces with the public one. Here, there are these names that might seem a bit confusing to you, just to be clear. But I repeat, it's not difficult. I understood this stuff in 2 days. Maybe I'm explaining it to you in a rough way. Not all fancy like AWS terminology, but that's how it is. That's how it is at the end of the day. All right, let's go back here for a second. So what does that mean? That here you'll have an address that this is the network I chose. And then on this network here, for example, I'll have 10.0.01.0. then I'll actually have it, because later when we do it, you'll see /24. So this is my private network that interfaces with this public network, which in turn goes out to the internet. Now in this apartment, so in this VPC, you see that this little symbol is missing, which you find here in the center and here on the right. This is the internet gateway, which AWS calls IGV. Here it is, IGW, which stands for Internet Gateway. So here I represent it to you like this, with this little cloud. This private network contacts this internet gateway, it sends it out to the internet. End of story. There you go, all this complexity. Because if you go and look at the training, which is great, it's well done, it's fun, though a bit boring in my opinion personally for me, but it's well made. Now this symbol for the moment doesn't matter to us. Let's leave it aside. Now what happens is, as I mentioned to you before, and as I have explained previously, in this particular building, these three separate apartments do not communicate with each other at all. They are completely isolated and they do not know each other in any way. So you who have your own private office, actually in the video, for instance, for example, I demonstrate how to connect the MikroTik router. And I also show you step by step how to set up the VPN, BGP, and everything else that is necessary. I show you everything in detail, covering all the important steps. The issue, however, is that I do not show you this specific part, which is the TGW, GW, GW, which stands for Transit Gateway. Remember these two terms because you'll find them later in the labs, and that's exactly what they're called. So what do you do next? You connect with your router, and then you proceed to set up the VPN, making sure all the necessary configurations are in place. After that, you set up BGP, and you do everything you want to do in your network setup. You get up to this point, and then you connect with the VPN once again, ensuring everything is working as expected, and that's where it ends. Because without the transit gateway, you will never be able to reach this point. And that's why there's this transit gateway, which is basically a network router. Think of it that way, that you can place wherever you want. In your AWS accounts, you then instruct this router to connect this apartment, that apartment, and yet another apartment, just like linking different rooms together. That's all there is to know. It's honestly not really that hard. Later, as I mentioned, I'll demonstrate this with a small lab. And if you want, if you can, since it's free, you should try it yourself as well. That way you get used to it through practice and you can truly see for yourself how it works. Then there are also other things, other configurations still related to this though. Maybe we'll leave that for a comment and I'll show you in other videos. Anyway, this is the typical configuration you find in enterprises. So, you have a company that moves its services to the cloud, servers, email, everything. And obviously, the company needs to connect to the cloud to use these services internally, right? And you specifically need this transit gateway. So you really need to know what you're doing because otherwise these won't communicate. To put it simply, going online, creating a virtual machine, or if you prefer an EC2, the VPC EC2, assigning it an IP, loading Windows on it, even a kid can do that because it basically does everything by itself. You just have to set the IP addresses, choose whether you want a public address, and AWS takes care of it. It's easy. But here, it's a bit more, let's say, refined, a bit more enterprise-level configuration, which we'll look at in the next video. Okay, now that we've talked about the story of the building, so AWS, the cloud, the VPC, basically the apartments. Let's see where these apartments are located. In AWS, they're called regions. Now, if you, like us Italians, think of regions as, I don't know, Puglia, Tuscany, Sicily, Molise, that mysterious region, and so on. But that's not the case. When we talk about regions, we actually mean countries. So here it is. That alone can already be quite confusing, but let's take a moment to see exactly what I'm talking about. So here, as you can see on the AWS website, if you search on the internet, for example, on Google for AWS regions, you'll find this map. And here you can see North America and you can also see the various countries. So this is Virginia, this is Canada, and so on, South America, Europe, the Middle East, Africa, etc. For example, as far as Italy is concerned, it's Milan. Now, AWS doesn't reveal where the data centers are physically located. It just tells you Milan, and then it will be defined as, for example, Europe South, Southeast A1, or Europe Southeast A, B, and C. So in the Italy area, specifically in Milan, you have 3 data centers. These 3 data centers aren't far from each other for resilience, speed, and so on, but they're all there. So when you choose the zone, when you choose the region, you'll see that you have different zones because the region is the country. So what's the zone? It's the city, basically, that's what it is, which in turn is divided into different areas where the data centers are physically located, but we aren't told exactly where because it's secret for confidentiality reasons. So that's how it works. This will also help you later when deciding, because clearly if I'm doing a lab or creating an infrastructure for a company and I'm in Italy, I'm definitely not going to choose Melbourne unless I have business or services to offer in Australia. It's the same for America if I don't have services to offer in America. But I want to show you something else still related to our building with our apartments. As I said before, the various apartments don't communicate with each other, but neither do the zones or the regions unless they're specifically told to. So if you choose to place your virtual private cloud, a VPC, in this zone, in this region, so for example, Canada, and another one here in Milan, these 2 VPCs don't know each other and they don't communicate. And even in this case, to make them communicate, you'll need a transit, gateway 1 and 2. But the same thing applies if, as I already said at the beginning, you have 2 VPCs in the same building, they don't communicate. The same goes if you choose the same region. For example, these 3 dots, which represent 3 regions, don't communicate with each other. So it's essential to understand how the transit gateway works, because otherwise you won't be able to set up this network. Basically, you'll just have one machine there and that's it. Just one, because if you add even a second one, they won't be able to communicate with each other, and of course, they need to communicate. That's all for now. Let me know in the comments if you have your own opinions or experience with AWS. Even better. That way you can enrich my knowledge too, and then we'll see how to set up our own lab. Bye, and see you next time.